Okay, so I decided to change all four ball joints, the upper and lower. You can see I've got the center cap removed here. I'm using a 36 millimeter, although I believe it's a 35. The 36 works fine. It's nice and tight. I've got the wheel still on the ground, and I'm going to go ahead and back this out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jack the car up. Alright, I've got a 19 millimeter here. I'm going to remove the lugs. Okay, so next we need to remove the caliper. We've got an 18 millimeter bolt here, not the pin, but right here. And then down in behind here, right there. I should be able to get that one with an impact wrench. And then this one I'm going to try to get with a socket, but because of this brake hose here, I might do a box end wrench. Okay, so now we need to get this one. I'm going to use a 18 millimeter box end wrench. So there's a couple of things you could do. You could put it on there and give it a couple of blows with Old Faithful here. Or you can take another wrench, and this is an old trick. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it. Okay, you can take another box end wrench, wind it on like this, and it gives you added leverage. You have to be a little bit careful because this could slip. You want to make sure, again, we're not removing the pin, the caliper pin, we're removing the bracket bolt. And I'll show you how this works real quick. I'm more inclined to use the Old Faithful, but I thought I'd show you this. Let's see if I can get the added torque that I need here. And it came loose, so that's good. Alright, where I'm winding this out by hand, I'm going to stop the camera and wind this out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we need to remove the caliper itself. I've got the bolt out, and you can take a screwdriver and kind of pry up on it like this. If your rotor has quite a ridge on it, for example, if you haven't changed it for a while and you've run your finger or thumb along the edge, if you feel a large ridge, you may actually need to be a little more persuasive with it. Kind of tap that off. And if your vehicle needs brakes and rotors and all those things, now's a good time to do that, because you're going to take this all apart anyways. That same goes with the hub assembly. So you know, my theory is if you're taking this all apart, you don't want to take it apart again in 6 months. So go ahead and change everything that needs to be changed now, right? I'm sure there's some bushings and things like that I should be changing, but my brakes are pretty good. My rotor, I didn't think was too bad, but it seems like we've got a little ridge. Alright, so what I'm going to do, you don't want to support the entire weight of the caliper on the brake hose, right? So you can try to tuck it up in here near the shaft, or you can, I've got a jack stand. I'm just going to kind of try to support the weight of it that way. Alright, so my rotor should pop right off here. Okay, you may have to give your rotor a couple of gentle taps. Get it off. Okay, there it is. And I never removed the hub nut here, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that and the washer that's in behind there. And you don't want to forget about the washer that's in behind there. You definitely don't want to forget to put that back on afterwards. So right now I've got a 10 millimeter socket here, and I'm going to remove this ABS sensor wire bracket right here, this first one. Okay, next I'm going to remove this bracket as well, which also holds the brake line, and it holds this ABS sensor wire. It's 13 millimeter. I can get to this one with the impact, so let's use it. Okay, so you can see I snapped that bolt. Maybe I shouldn't have used the impact, but I'll be able to get that out of there and replace that bolt. I think that may have broken either way. And we have one more up here, and I'm going to get to this one with a box end, 13 millimeter. Well, let's hope it comes out a little easier. Alright, so that's coming. What I'll probably do is stop the camera here. You don't need to see me wind this out. Okay, so next we need to, right here under the fender flap, we need to disconnect the ABS sensor. It's got one of those little plastic tabs that lifts up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right here. And we're going to disconnect that. Okay. So, another video tells you to take a screwdriver and pop this out of the frame, which you can do, but this is a 2000, so chances are I'm going to break that plastic off. This actually has a little tab in the front as well. I don't know if you can see it right there. And the way it works is it actually slides out in like a channel. So once you move that little plastic tab, this actually will slide forward. See if I can show you that. And so basically to put that back in, we're just going to slide it back like this. I don't know if you can see that or not. So it's just a little plastic channel, and there's a little plastic tab that grabs this little piece here, and you'll notice that my my plastic mount's still intact and I didn't break anything, so except for that one bolt, but we'll fix that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is remove this cotter pin on the lower part of this ball joint, and then I'm going to remove that castle nut. The new ball joints come with new cotter pins, so it's not necessary to get this thing out intact, although this has been replaced, so it ought to come out pretty good. Okay, on this replacement here, this is a 19 millimeter. I believe the original one is a 22, but I'll have to double check that. All I have is an open end, so we're going to try to do that delicately. That actually went surprisingly well. So I'm going to wind this out, and I'm going to stop the camera. You don't need to watch this. Okay. Next we're going to remove these nuts on the top here. And again, I believe these are 10 millimeter on the original. If you've never had your ball joint replaced, these are going to be rivets. And I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to show a little bit of footage of peeling back those rivets. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that footage. I kind of wish these were rivets so I could use the air hammer again, but actually these are 11 millimeter, and I'm just going to go ahead and use the impact wrench because I really don't care if I snap these off or not. Yeah. Okay, so next I'm going to use a pickle fork and an air hammer to separate this ball joint here. If you don't have an air hammer, you can still use a pickle fork. And CarQuest and different places might even, like CarQuest here has a rental program where basically you pay $45, you use the tool. If you return the tool, you get your $45 back. Obviously, they hope you buy the, buy the ball joints there. But anyways, it's a pretty good deal. Alright, that's much easier than pounding on it with a hammer. So now we're going to replace that upper ball joint. I'm going to move the camera and I'll be right back. Alright. See that pop loose? My compressor just kicked on. I'm going to shut the camera off and start popping this thing out of here and put the new one in. Okay, so with this new kit here, AC Delco, this is the Advantage series. These were about, I think they were $15 or so. Goes washer, come up through, another washer, and then the nut. I'm just going to finger tighten all four of these, and then I'll tighten them down with a ratchet. I'll probably speed through this section, so I won't speak much. Okay, so these new ones are 10mm, and I'm just going to use two ratchets here. You could use a box end if you wanted, or whatever. And I don't know the appropriate foot-pounds of torque for these. Go ahead and look it up on Google if that interests you, but I know these are on there and they're not coming off. So, alright, we're on to the lower one. I'm going to reposition the camera and come right back. Okay, don't forget this bracket. I forgot it on my install, so I'm cutting this in. Don't forget this bracket right here, top ball joint.